This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, the City of Hazleton pays tribute to a former mayor and influential citizen. Hello everyone, this is FYI for Monday. I'm Ken Cara. Now to our headlines from FYI News 13 and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. The City of Hazleton said goodbye to one of its most ardent supporters. Lisa Sugart reports.
Former Hazleton Mayor John Ford was laid to rest today. Family, friends, and dignitaries paid their respects to a man who had a major impact on the city he loved. After Mass, a special tribute as the Hazleton Police Department led the funeral procession under an arch formed by ladder trucks from the city of Hazleton and Hazel Township. Former Hazleton Mayor and now Congressman Lou Barletta, who grew up in a Democratic family, said it was because of John Ford that he became a Republican.
My wife's uncle, who was very close friends with John Ford, his name was Jack Rogers, had come to me and asked if I would switch parties to help John in an election, and I did. I had switched parties and I had stayed Republican ever since. So it was because of John Ford, who was very active in the Republican Party, and people may not know that, not only here in Hazleton, but in Harrisburg and in Washington as well.
Current Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi said the two men were friends for 40 years.
Him being gone is going to be a disadvantage to the city of Hazleton. He was such a generous person and a giving of his time person, and a leadership role he took to a lot of people.
Jeff Cassatt is a new member of Hazleton City Council. He said Mayor Ford inspired and supported him, and the two became good friends.
I think I went back every day for the last 3 years. We would go down there and just talk and tell stories, and we went for lunch every day. I'd go down there. He'd want to drive, but I mean it was like we just bonded.
Police Chief Frank DeAndrea called John Ford a wonderful person with a good heart.
Not only for the city and in his role as a politician, as a mayor, but for the city, just because he was such a wonderful person with a good heart, through his business, through his ties to his local church and his organizations. It's a sad day for the city of Hazleton.
John Ford was a successful businessman and leader, and it is his love of Hazleton that will certainly be remembered for many years to come. Reporting for FYI, I'm Lisa Sugart.
Thanks, Lisa. And in other news, 2 homes were destroyed and a third damaged by fire this morning in Whitehaven. The fire broke out around 7:30 a.m. at 223 Towanda Street and quickly spread to 225 Towanda. Melted siding was visible on a third home. Fire departments from throughout the area responded. Friday night marked the 44th annual commencement exercises at the Penn State Hazleton campus. Campus Chancellor Dr. Gary Lawler conferred 63 associate degrees and 44 baccalaureate degrees. The ceremony also featured the very first graduates with engineering degrees in alternative energy and power generation from the Hazleton campus. 5 students, including 2 women, successfully completed this new major at the local campus. A recent eye-opening New York Times article about a heroin addict in the city of Hazleton who helped police bring in a few dealers while the state attorney general and her task force were in town has a lot of people talking. We asked Hazleton's police chief, the city's mayor, and former mayor and current Congressman Lou Barletta about the article.
Most people that contact me, I believe, are just surprised by how the article reads. You can't help but feel emotion when you're reading that about our town, about people who live in our community, and about what some people are now doing within the community. But my comment on the article specifically is there are some stories that have no other way of being told than being painted with the brush of truth and honesty. And unfortunately, I think so many people are shocked because they didn't know that it has gotten to that point with heroin users using public restrooms, for their 5 minutes of respite. The article is very spot on, and I'm hoping that an article that gives national recognition to a problem can turn us towards looking for a solution. You know, it was great when we had the task force in town. We had 10 to 15 more officers. That's what we could accomplish with 15 more cops on the street. I would love to figure out a way for us to increase the police department.
But then we get the negative out of it. Because they have drugs, they're here. Well, I think every city in the United States has drugs and a drug problem, and they're fighting it just like we are. We were very fortunate in having the Attorney General come in and do this.
More than negative, it was sad about an individual. Reading the story, and I didn't know what the purpose of the article is, because you could probably interchange Hazleton's name with many communities around the country, but it just again shines a light on the problem of drug abuse and how much there is there, and that we really need to get to the root of the problem. And that's what I took out of this article is the great job that our law enforcement does. It's very frustrating for them because every time they arrest somebody, it creates another opportunity for someone else, and it's a never-ending vicious circle for them until we realize as a society that we need to get down to the root of the problem. We can't just expect law enforcement to solve this on their own. So I think there's a much deeper story that I read out of it than Hazleton as being a place where all these drug dealers are, and that's sad, and we can't stop. We need to stand up and say we're going to try to do something about it. We can't just read a story like that and hope that law enforcement can do more. I think as a society we all need to do more.
If you didn't get a chance to read the article, we do have a link to it on our Facebook page. Now from the desk of the Butler Township Police Department. Butler Township Police will take part in Buckle Up PA's Click It or Ticket initiative from May 18th to June 8th. The program includes roving enforcements to ensure all occupants of vehicles, including children, are safely restrained. The Standard Speaker is trying to help make the voting process easier. If you go to their website now, you can click on their voter's guide. All you have to do is enter your address and you can see a sample ballot. And they also have links there about the races and the candidates. Coming up on FYI, get ready for a good stretch as Janine stops by Core Fitness for her In Your Community segment. Plus, we'll talk about a few projects going on in our area by PennDOT with District 4's Community Resource Coordinator.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Welcome back to FYI In Your Community. Today on Mondays, we're at Core Fitness, and we're back with Christy Book, one of the owners here, and we're talking about strength training and stretching, right?
Correct. Stretching is a very important part of your routine. You should always end your routine, anything that you do, with some very light stretching. While the muscle is warm, it's important to bring it back to the length so that you're not super sore the next day.
Okay. And again, the nice thing I like about what you're showing everyone is that you can do this at home. So if you don't feel comfortable coming to a gym, or you're just starting out, or you think you're too busy, this is something you can do right before you go to bed, in the morning, at any time that you have that's convenient for you. Now, Core Fitness is exclusive women only, which is awesome because some women don't like working out with men, and women tend to work out differently than men do. Sure. So again, you could do all these exercises at home, which we're going to see.
Men do tend to skip the stretching part of it. Not to call you out, guys, but sometimes you do. We like to stretch at the end. It's kind of decompresses your mind, and it also gets that muscle back to length. So as we get older, we keep our flexibility. So if you just have a wall, okay, and you wanted to stretch your chest, you could just place your hand there and kind of turn out so that you're going to feel a stretch right across the frontal deltoid into the chest muscles, keeping your abs tight. And you always want to remember to breathe through the stretch. Stretching should never be uncomfortable. So you want to get to the point where you feel the stretch, the end of the stretch, and you're going to hold it maybe 20 to 30 seconds and then do it on the opposite side because you have two sides to everything.
Okay. I was just going to ask you that when you do the stretching, sometimes you can overexert and that you can actually hurt yourself while you're stretching.
Right.
So you don't want to go to the point of extreme pain. You just want to feel a nice, easy stretch on your arm or
and
your
there's
leg.
different types of stretching too. I mean, sometimes I'll see people bouncing through a stretch. That's called ballistic stretching, and it's a type of stretching, but you have to be kind of knowledgeable and really listen to your body in that type of stretching. So I recommend more of a static stretching, which is where you hold and you breathe through. Okay. What I do want to point out is that when you're stretching, you have hinge joints on your elbows and your knees. I see this a lot, pushing down right here, okay? You have a hinge joint on your knee. It only goes one way. When you're pushing on your thigh, you're pushing that hinge joint the wrong way. So always put your hand to the opposite side, okay? And that's where you hold your stretch. And the same thing, I'll see this, pushing on this joint, right? So pull on your wrist away to the wall and then stretch through the shoulder.
Okay.
Okay.
Other stretches that we can do at home?
We can use a mat to stretch. You can sit down on the floor. You can do your forward bends, just your regular forward bends, just stretch your hamstrings. And also a lot of pain through the lower back with women. So you can come down on your ball if you have one of these and just kind of fold forward. And that's going to decompress your vertebra. Okay, so we talked about that in the last segment.
I love the ball. All right. We've been giving away 1 week passes if people want to participate and find out what Core Fitness is all about. So watch for Twitter Tuesdays and Facebook Fridays right here on SSPTV.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
Guess what, everyone? There's a chance of showers tonight. That's what's going on in weather as we take a look at our weather shot. Not raining yet in the area, but we will see what happens. Overnight, there is a chance for thunderstorms, low getting down to 61. For Tuesday, another chance of showers with thunderstorms also possible. Then it will be partly sunny, high near 73. Tuesday night, there's a 30% chance of showers, low around 53. For Wednesday, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll get up to 64 degrees. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms Wednesday night, low around 59. For Thursday, 70% showers are likely. Again, possible thunderstorm as well, high near 73. Thursday night, 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms. It will get down to 52. For Friday, mostly cloudy, high near 63. There is a 50% chance of rain. And then on Friday night, 30% chance of showers, low around 46.
Pleased to welcome back James May, the Regional Press Director for PennDOT. You were here with us earlier talking about the Broad Street Corridor project and pothole patching, but there's a lot of other projects that are getting underway soon, I guess, in our area. Good news for motorists traveling through the area and for people who live here. So what is the latest now? We know there's also going to be a major undertaking on Route 309 in the Hazleton area.
There are actually two projects taking place on State Route 309. The first one is a project that we currently have underway, and that is if you travel from Wilkes-Barre up to Wilkes-Barre down to the mountaintop area, we're doing some work on that section in there, doing some blasting. That road goes through a rock cut there, and anytime a road goes through a rock cut, the sun doesn't get down, you have water that runs down onto the road, and you have issues with freezing. So that's really a safety improvement project. What will be taking place there is throughout April, they're going to be doing a lot of the paving to get ready to move the traffic over. And then from probably May until late October, early November, just weather dependent, the plan will be that they're going to be moving all the traffic into what is now the southbound lanes. So all the traffic will be one-way traffic there in the southbound lanes. The northbound will be closed, what is now the northbound lanes. It can still go north, but just on the other side. And they'll move all the traffic over, and they're going to be doing some blasting in that area. So that's one of the big projects that we have. It'll be single lane in that area throughout the summer and into the fall. The other ones are a result of the transportation bill that was funded recently. And two of the projects that are coming from that, one is they're going to be doing some paving on State Route 309 here in the Hazleton area. And I know that a lot of people have been calling for that type of thing with the condition of the roads. And then also up on State Route 3034, that's up in Cunningham area, they'll be doing some paving on that road as well. So here in District 4, we made the decision that with a lot of the transportation funding that's coming in, instead of putting that into new projects and expanding projects, we're doing a lot of paving. And so that's just some of the areas that they'll see here in the Hazleton area is on State Route 309 and 3034.
So very good news for anyone who's traveling in this area, but Also, we want to advise them to be cautious because I'm sure that's always a concern, the PennDOT workers themselves being out there. So you want to make sure people are traveling at the proper speeds and being careful because there's a lot of people out there working and you don't want any injuries.
We'll be having our Work Zone Awareness Week coming up here very, very shortly, and it's one of those things that we always emphasize people to make sure that you slow down, make sure that you always put your phone down anytime you're driving, but especially when you're going through a work zone. These are husbands and wives and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers that are out there working, and we want them to get home safely as well.
And if anyone is going, traveling, driving, or even if it's just around here, is there somewhere they can go to get the information on where the construction projects are that maybe they could avoid them or at least be aware to leave earlier?
Many times it's to leave earlier because there are a lot of projects taking place. From our office, we do send out a weekly report. If people want to email me directly, that's jamay@pa.gov, jamay@pa.gov. And we'll just add them to our email list, and we send that out to thousands of people across the region, just letting them know sort of what to expect for the week coming up as far as construction projects.
All right, some very vital information. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of people signing up for that. Thank you very much. Come and see us often and keep us up to date on what's happening throughout the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
All right, James May from PennDOT.
Now we have tonight's community calendar. Annunciation Parish at St. Gabriel's Church in Hazleton will hold a spring rummage sale this Saturday, May 17th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Church Hall. A preview sale will be held Friday night from 6 until 8 p.m. and there will be a $5 charge for the Friday night sale only. A light lunch will be available on Saturday. Let's see if you won the lottery. You could go spend it all at the rummage sale. Daily number 896, Big 4 8795, Quinto 16111, Treasure Hunt 1710 1322. Sports is next on FYI.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
Penn State Hazleton had graduation on Friday. We had the proof in headlines, but the softball team from Penn State Hazleton is still playing. The local Lions are the number 6 seed in the United States Collegiate Athletic Association playoffs. PSU Hazleton is ranked in the top 10 in the National USCAA in runs, hits, doubles, triples, home runs, and RBIs. The local Lions face off with Ave Maria University in the Small College World Series in Akron, Ohio. Hazleton's roster includes Aaron and Jamie Dougherty from Weatherly area, Kayla Kirchner, who represents MMI Prep, and Carly Rosside, who played at Hazleton area. Well, if you like close games, the Penguins-Bruins series in the Calder Cup playoffs has not been for you, as they split the first 2 games at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Now, if this game, if the series does come back for a Game 6, it will be at the Mohegan Sun Arena next Wednesday. And now here's a look this week at the Schuylkill League playoffs. The Marion Phillies, they will go up against Pottsville, and then the winner of that will play the winner of Blue Mountain and the Wilds Card team. Now, who is the Wild Card team? Good question. Tamaqua and North Schuylkill are tied, and they are playing today with the winner earning a spot in the Schuylkill League playoffs. Tamaqua already has a spot in the baseball playoffs, and they'll play Tri-Valley on Tuesday at Pine Grove High School. A victory there, and they'll take on either Minersville or Pottsville. Russ Kanzler hit a home run against his former team, the Durham Bulls, on Friday. Kanzler's now hitting .271 with 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in after this weekend. And finally, 2 20-lap modified races highlighted the action at Evergreen Raceway Park on Sunday. Donnie Hartzell from Hunlock Creek won the 20-lap race, the first one, and it's his first divisional win since 2005 in race number 2. Jimbo Johnny from Hunlock Creek as well, big weekend for Hunlock Creek, got the victory. This upcoming Sunday is Armed Forces Day at the track and will feature a bunch of races. For more information, visit evergreenracewaypark.com.
Happy birthday, Yogi Berra, who is celebrating his 89th today, which is May 12, 2014. This is Trivia Treats. Hi, everybody. On this very day in 1934, 80 years ago, Yankee first baseman Lou Gehrig hit 2 home runs and 2 doubles while driving in 7 runs while only playing 5 innings against the White Sox at Yankee Stadium. It was his 1,370th consecutive game in which he had appeared, a streak that began in 1925, but Gehrig left that game suffering from a bad cold. The consecutive game streak went on to reach 2,130 when it ended in 1939. 50 years later, in 1984, the White Sox and Brewers completed the longest game ever played in the American League at Comiskey Park in Chicago. The contest started the previous day, and play was suspended after 17 innings with the score 3-3. But on this day, in '84, Harold Baines of the White Sox ended the marathon with a walk-off homer in the bottom of the 25th inning. Staying with baseball, 10 years ago, in 2004, the Detroit Tigers blew a 10-run lead and lost 16-15 to the Texas Rangers at the ballpark in Arlington. The Rangers' Alfonso Soriano led the Texas attack with 6 hits in 6 at-bats. The Tigers led 14-4 after 6, but the Rangers nodded later at 15-15 before Texas won it in the bottom of the 10th, 16-15. That happened 10 years ago tonight, on the day after 10 years ago. Tomorrow night, in 2004, in Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Lakers outlasted the Spurs 74-73 in San Antonio in one of the greatest finishes in NBA history. With 9/10 of a second left, Tim Duncan sank an 18-foot jumper over Shaquille O'Neal to put the Spurs ahead 73-72. After 2 timeouts, Gary Payton of the Lakers inbounded to Derek Fisher with 4/10 of a second on the clock. In one motion, Fisher caught the ball, turned and shot over Manu Ginobili to score from 16 feet out. The officials watched that replay for over a minute before giving the Lakers the necessary 2 points and the win. The lead changed twice within 1 second. That's almost impossible, but it happened. Till Friday, be a good sport and stay loose.
Mondays can be rough, but you can end them on a high note. Seafood night at Bottlenecks. Choose from crab, clam, shrimp, and lobster specials, such as their little neck clams in garlic butter, only $1.95 a dozen, or handmade crab cake platter for only $8.95.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, the Hazleton Area Public Library is celebrating its 2nd annual Community Reads Day on Wednesday, May 14th at 6 p.m. in the Community Room. This year's theme is Corresponding Lives, with community members from all walks of life reading letters sent during wartime. More information, please call 570-454-2961. And finally, Cunningham United Methodist Church will be holding a rummage sale Saturday, May 24th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. CUMC is located on Main Street. For more information, please call 570-788-3960 or visit cunninghamumc.org. At tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Elizabeth Jane Semko of Tamaqua. Funeral is Wednesday at 11 a.m. from the E. Franklin Griffiths Funeral Home. Friends may call Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. and Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. William T. Lipinski of Hazleton. Arrangements are under the direction of the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Irene M. Watkins of Hazleton. Arrangements will be announced by the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home. And Vernon C. Stecker of Drums. Funeral is Wednesday at 11 a.m. from the Butler Chapel of the Cropton Hughes Funeral Home. Friends may call Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazleton. For delivery to all local funeral homes, call 570-454-0111.
Thanks for spending part of your day with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take it easy, everyone.